Some years ago, I was asking a very wise teacher. I was asking him about some various difficulties and triggers and confusion that I was experiencing in intimate relationships. And I was sharing with him, and he said this to me. It was very powerful. It was a lot of wisdom packed in that. And he didn't quite answer my particular conundrum, and he said, you know, the prerequisite for having a good relationship with someone, the prerequisite for that is to have already found the source of inner peace, inner happiness, inner stability within. Yeah, and so otherwise what's happening is that actually the source of inner peace and stability within is hidden from us, and we are caught in some problem. We have a problem and we are in turmoil, various types of turmoil. And then there's this idea that well, if I meet the right person, then it's going to be okay. I'm going to be happy, I'm going to be at peace, I just need to find the right match and all of that. And what happens, and this is a deeply ingrained program, subconscious conditioning in our society. Even if you don't believe it, you do believe it. I did believe it. It's very hard to eradicate this, all the Disney and all the Hollywood and all of that. So what happens, having not being at home, not having found our true home, which is the default state of everyone, then we go to find this home in someone, and then it seemingly seems that, oh yeah, if you find somebody that you have a lot of chemistry and a lot of connections, then you're like, yeah, okay, and you feel good and happy and excited and full of life for a period of time. But as you know, this period of time will change, and within a few days or a few weeks or a few months, all that placebo effect, the placebo effect that seemingly now I'm fine through merging in a relationship, the placebo effect wears off, and now I am back with my problem. I had the same problem before, now the other person has the same problem because they are trying to find happiness, stability, and fulfillment from without, and then you have a lot of problems. So I was sharing this with a person who was coming to my groups, and I shared this, the prerequisite is to have found, the prerequisite for a good relationship is to have found the source of happiness, peace, stability, inner harmony within. And she actually had a very good point. She caught this. She was like, hey, I agree with what you are saying, but how is this to be achieved? How do you find the source of inner peace and stability and harmony within? How do you do that? Is it some kind of it dawns on you at some time, or is it seems like it's a pretty complex thing to do. And so I was really happy about that, because it's very easy to say this, and there's a lot of such slogans that seem very deep and true and thrown in everyday culture on a mug or on a t-shirt, but it is much harder to do that. So she asked me, well, how do you go about this? So I'm going to say, just as a loose, broad map, how is this to be achieved, to find the source of inner peace, happiness, stability within? Because basically, that is a very hard work. That is very difficult, and it takes a lot of factors in order to do that. And actually, the aim of all the Hindu scriptures and the Buddhist scriptures and the Christian scriptures and all religions and mystical traditions, they are talking about that. How to find the kingdom of heaven within, how to find the quiet place within, how to find the self within, and within that self, or within the kingdom of heaven, or within our being, right there we have this, what we really want, what we are trying to get through getting little toys, expensive toys, or trying to seek love, or trying to get approval, or trying to be perfect, or trying to be successful, trying to have stability, trying to feel better through a substance or an activity. What we really want, what everybody wants, is to feel this sense of unconditionally fulfilled, to feel a state of peace that is unaffected by this or that, a state of completion, yeah. And however, the way to go is to go inward. I mean, there are many paths up that mountain, and there are many traditions, but the ones that I'm most familiar with and resonate with as Buddhism, Zen, Tibetan Dzogchen, Fourth Way, Gurdjieff, Uspensky, Advaita Vedanta, the direct path, the way to go there, and the aim of the work is that exactly what that person asked me. And it is challenging. It is necessary, first of all, to be really earnest about that, to realize that no matter what I'm trying to attain, happiness and okayness, going outside of myself, seeking stuff and acquiring stuff, it doesn't work, never worked. It's going to be disillusioned each time. So it's important to have a glimpse of that, or to have been disillusioned a bunch of times, so then we start going in the opposite direction. So it's important to be disillusioned, and severely disillusioned, with the recipes of happiness inherited from our parents. Then it is necessary to want this, to realize that time is limited here, and actually it's all kind of smoke in the wind. All that we achieve here, it just doesn't really matter at the bigger scale. And the only thing that really matters here is to kind of find the truth, basically. And these are big words, but the truth about what we really are, not as being Mihai, or being the body, or being my psychology, being my chronology, being this feeling. So finding what is it, our essential identity, and finding out what is the nature of this essential identity, and what is the correlation between our essential identity and the reality of the universe / God. So anyway, trying to get more practical here, although it's just a loose map, how to find this state of inner peace, stability within. Well, it is important to find a teaching that is correct, that is more accurate, a map coming from teachers that have already achieved that. And ideally, there are many teachers that have these teachings, but they died a long time ago, and their map has been copied and distorted, and it's a little incomplete. So it's ideal to find a teacher or a mentor, or somebody who is more advanced than you on this path, and to have some kind of precise set of knowledge, as to a certain map as to how to deal with one's psychology, how to deal with one's thoughts, how to deal with one's feelings, how to deal with one's triggers, how to raise the level of awareness. Because basically humanity as it is, as we become adults, we are incomplete from the point of view of consciousness. And many spiritual traditions and teachings, they talk about this state of sleep or dreaming, a little bit like in Matrix. People believe that they are awake and they are having an active, engaged life, but actually that's a dreaming. It's a sleep, consciousness sleep. So to find a good, precise set of knowledge that also has a serious practical application, and then also you can't do this alone. So it's better to start initially for a long time to work with someone or with a group of people, because on our own we don't have enough direction, enough clarity, enough drive, and we are going to be deviated and fall asleep or meander. So it's good to walk with a group of like-minded, serious seekers of truth. Okay, and then, so the way to go is, the way when I work with people is that the initial work is to jumpstart this quality of being present, this quality of presence, which is dormant in ourselves, and to learn about these practices around observing, noticing our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions, and to be more deeply attentive to the phenomenal now, and to engage this quality of being here and now, being aware of what's happening in the present moment. Not thinking about what's happening, not anticipating what will be happening, not being lost in endless stream of thoughts about past and future and imaginings and rehashing how we talked and how people perceived us and if we did a good job. And so the usual state that it's a big block that we need to transcend, and it's pretty hard. It requires a lot of arduous work consistently for a period of time, is to change this state of very deep sleep. The state of deep sleep is that everybody that you know, basically, the truth is that from the moment we wake up, we are this, our true self or our being is constantly lost in this endless churning of daydreaming, of thoughts about past, future, about negative scenarios, about regretting, about anticipating, about fearing, voices in the head, subparts talking to each other, inner critic, self-pity, self-deprecation, vanity, pride, inner dialogue. Yeah, so everybody is in this state of being lost in our thoughts or lost in our feelings, in a way that actually the phenomenal now, what is here, you know, the trees, the birds, architecture, the wind, it's kind of, we are half asleep to it. It's like a veil, and we are more caught in the movie, the production that is about me, and that me is not questioned. That me is the sense of being a person, being it's a mind-made sense of self. It's not the real self. The real self is basically asleep. It's there. And actually, the source of peace, happiness, stability within is to be found within our real self. Yeah, so it's all about discovering our real self and awakening and diminishing sleep to some degree, diminishing our torpor to some degree, in a way that this real self, it starts to jumpstart and be more frequently online and for longer duration, up to the point that we, instead of identifying with thoughts, random thoughts, conditioned thoughts, triggers, attitudes, instead of identifying with that, or instead of identifying with the body as me, there comes a time, which is pretty advanced, to identify as being this aware presence. The aware presence is that which is aware right now. It's aware of thoughts and feelings, is aware of world events, is aware of the body. But for everybody, unless they've done serious, skillful awakening work, this aware being is totally, constantly sucked into stuff. and it loses oneself, and then it's thus in a washing machine of turmoil. So somehow through various skillful ongoing effort with some type of mindfulness practices, in formal meditation, in walking awareness practice, in day-to-day practice, because it's not enough just to meditate 15 or half an hour a day, but to ongoingly change this state of torpor and to have awareness more online, be more present. And as we do that, that is I'm not going to explain how this is going to be done. This is a long work. I'm just talking loosely here. Then the next step is to, as the first step is, let's say, more or less accomplished, then we'll have less of these crazy thoughts all the time. So there will be more like quietness, and the mind will be less of hurting us and biting us and being constantly busy. The mind gets more quiet. So we experience the world through the being. Then, as we are there, now we are much more aware of our subconscious. We are more aware of the skeletons. We are aware of patterns, of wounds, of traumas. And there's necessary now to face all of these wounds, traumas, pain body, in which we have this various negative limiting story about ourselves. I'm unlovable, I'm bad, I'm a loser, I'm unworthy, I'm alone. Some kind of painful, energetical, emotional stuff in our energy, emotional body that we identify with. So now, as we are able to remain as the witnessing presence and be less sucked all the time, now we can bring this witnessing presence to our emotional body. And here there is what's called shadow work, or a psychosomatic investigation from awareness, where we are going to look at our skeletons and all that they say, programs from childhood, adaptive programs of being inauthentic, of trying to be perfect, trying to be funny, trying to hide, fears, unworthiness, loneliness, all of this. So those need to come to the surface and to be seen and felt. Yeah, this is easier said than done, because in our state of unconsciousness, we are afraid to feel, and we haven't been taught how to feel consciously. So we either avoid feelings, or we wallow in them. We are totally wrapped up in them, and that is identification and suffering. So this, let's say, second step is to air our skeletons and to have the courage and the capacity to witness unpleasant stuff multiple times for quite some time. And then in the process, basically these things will lighten up, will loosen up, and then they are almost there. These are seen by the light of awareness, and then they kind of dissolve and they are less sticky. But this usually takes years. So then, therefore, we free ourselves now from all of this. We no longer believe that there's something wrong with me, or that I'm unlovable, or that I'm a loser, or that nobody would like me, or all kind of relational patterns. They are diminishing a lot. In this process of combining awareness practices, being present with the subconscious clearing of the pain body, we are becoming more authentic, really, really authentic, real. And we are not afraid to feel anything, and we can communicate, and we are less triggered, and we are living from our authentic nature and presence. That is already very good. Just even being there, there's much more peace and stability. And although shit may happen here and there in the world, it doesn't affect your inner state, and it's already a more sense of okayness. It's okay, and less worries, and a sense of already knowing that this sense of lack that I'm trying to avoid and alleviate, this sense of lack, that something is missing, something is wrong, is from within me and can only be resolved from within. Yeah. I'll have to go very soon, but the third step, which is, let's say, the most advanced step, and all of these steps can happen intermingling, yeah, or overlapping these types of work, is the most lofty and deep liberation, so to say. As the mind is more quiet, as the body and pain body is more less thick, less active, and we are more healed and real and authentic, and we live ongoingly from presence. We are present instead of being absent. So now there's this witnessing, aware being, yeah? Okay, now at some point that needs to recognize itself, what's called a glimpse or a satori, where it is obvious that there is this presence, and this presence is that which doesn't come and go. And this presence is not a thought, and this presence is always present. And this is what I am. Actually, presence and I am and awareness and being is one and the same. That is very good. Not many people go there. Of course, there might be more skeletons, more stuff, more triggers. The more conscious we become, and the more the presence becomes conscious of itself, as itself, the more it pulls up unresolved stuff. So there's ongoing purging, purification, releasing. And the last step for this video is the realization that this presence, this being, is not a personal, separate entity. That this presence is not depending on the body. That this presence is first, this conscious being is first, and then the body, the thoughts, the feelings come later. And to start to realize that I have no evidence to believe that this personal, this aware being is personal, limited, finite, perishable. And now we are working at the level to doing all kind of other introspection, inquiries, exercises that will give us more glimpse of the nature of our true self, the nature of that which is aware. That, if we are honest and we have serious guidance here, and if we are really interested, it may reveal the big enchilada, the full enchilada, which is that, as Jesus would say, I and the Father are one. Or in the Hindus, they would say that Atman is Brahman, meaning that this presence is actually one with the everything in the universe. It's not even there are different parts connected. There's just one reality. And a good image that one can relate to even intellectually is like this: all the cells in the body, actually they are not separate. All the cells in my body, they are not separate. They are part of this totality of the body that is conscious. Even having the concept of being a cell, that's more like a mind conceptualization. So, as they say in the Emerald Tablets, ancient texts, as above, so below. So just like all the cells in my body are part of the body, and it's just one body, this body and everybody who is hearing this video, and the computer, and the sun, and all the living creatures, and the galaxy, and all the galaxies, they are cells in an infinite body, in a universal body, which we can call God. So God is not somehow there. God is everywhere, is within. It is that which is present. So this presence is God's presence, but also it is this computer. This computer, if you look into it microscopically, subatomically, there are atoms, electrons, quarks, and then you end up in some mysterious space that is conscious in a mysterious way. So basically, this realization that this being is God's being, and it is infinite. It is unchanging. It has never been born. It is ever present. And then everybody we meet, everybody you look at, every flower, everything, as they say in the Quran, wherever your eyes fall, there is the face of God. So you see, these are high stages of realization, and so you see there's nothing missing, nothing, there's no sense of lack. So that's more like the deepest unfolding of the spiritual path. And all of this that I said, which, I said it here in a 15-20 minute video, but it doesn't quite work like that. The specific inner work on each aspect of it. And then we can find the source of peace and stability within. As they say in the Bible, the peace that passeth understanding. So if you're interested in these things, check out my website, and doing all kind of groups and immersions and one-on-ones. All right. And this is true, this is possible, and it's the thing that is the endeavor that in my book is the most noble endeavor, and the only thing worth spending the time. And of course, we are here, is this movie, it is in my way, my path is to engage fully, and to have a job, to have a relationship, to have friends, to have fun, to all of this. Yeah, the path that I'm walking is connected to the fourth way path, which is working on oneself, deep immersed in life, not avoiding life. All right. Ciao.